Hey, what's going on, everybody? We've got a bunch of Acuity parts ready to go in Project FC3. We've done a product video on it before. Now we're gonna review it, use it, install it, and show everything to you. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's JP from EdgeAutosport.com, your trusty source for 10th gen Civic stuff. We have Project FC3 behind me, and we've got a bunch of Acuity parts in front of me right now. Mainly the full shifter assembly. We are going to replace ours with this. We're gonna kind of just showcase it for you. We're not gonna do a full install guide, and the main reason why actually is because Acuity has a 32-page PDF along with a video to show you how to install it. So if we were to do an install guide, it would be kind of redundant. They did an awesome job at that, which we're very thankful for as well. But we'll make sure to link that in our product if it isn't already. But go to their site in case you need the install guide. They have it available, very easy to find as well. So we are going to take the opportunity to just install this on our own Project FC3, and we're going to review it this time. We've actually done a video kind of presenting a lot of the 10th gen stuff for that Acuity makes, but we're actually going to review this thing and just kind of tell you what our experience is. We're not going to put it through full-on track use for, you know, several laps at our local track or anything like that, but we're going to give you an idea of what you can experience. You can be sure that if you are a track person and you're going to take your car to the track, that's really where this is going to shine a lot. But it is going to change the experience even of daily driving quite a bit, so we're going to go over that. Now this thing, it replaces pretty much all the shifter parts that are available separately from Acuity. For example, the shifter bushings right here, and then this shifter centering spring right here, the rocker upgrade. So all those things are actually kind of built into this thing already. So there's no need to get those and this. This is a complete unit with everything you need. These are what would be the shifter replacement bushings if you were maintaining your stock shifter cage here or assembly. The rocker arm upgrade already comes on this one. The centering spring already comes on this one. So this is a full kit. There's also, you know, that little short shifter attachment. Normally that would go on the bottom of the stock shifter right here on the bottom side of this cage. It comes with what you need to hook up to the shifter linkage right there. So everything that you can get individually from Acuity, if you wanted to maintain your stock shifting assembly, it just comes on this thing. So just to make that clear for you, you can upgrade the heck out of your stock shifter assembly with some kind of bolt-on parts around it. I'm going to show you how to do that while we take off the stock shifter assembly and put this one on. We'll just kind of point out where they're gonna go and how to kind of unassemble that stock shifter once we get there. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy it. What we're gonna do first is take the car out on the road, just give you a quick little idea of just kind of how the shifter feels, at least from our perspective, tell you what we think about it, and just so we have a good baseline of what this thing's gonna feel like when we're done. So let's get going. All right, so my impression of the stock shifting in this car is it's actually fairly good. I don't think this is a bad shifting car. I think it's fairly crisp from the factory, but like most cars, it does have a level of comfort built into it that, you know, it's made so that people, you know, so that a wide range of people can use it and feel comfortable with it. So it's not quite as notchy. It's a little bit sloppy. You know, when you press on it, you can kind of feel it move even when it's in gear. So there's a little bit of sloppiness to it, but that's pretty much expected with any OEM car. I've had several cars with some short shifters on them and upgrades. I've never actually had a car where I fully changed out the entire shifting assembly, so I'm kind of excited to do this one. But anyway, yeah, this thing it's not too bad from the factory, but the throws are definitely long, and I think there's going to be quite a bit of improvement to be made with this thing. The cool thing about the Acuity is how adjustable it is, so you can really set it up a lot of different ways to kind of fit your liking. So excited to see that. All right, we just got the car pulled in. There's a little bit of noise in the background. Don't mind that. Alan's tuning a car on the dyno right behind the camera here. But We just pulled the car in. We're gonna start taking it apart. We got our acuity directions right here. These are always super helpful. And so yeah, we're about ready to install it. Enjoy. Okay, so as you can see, the complete center console and all the paneling that surrounds this entire shifting assembly is now off the car. I'm gonna be honest, Acuity's instructions are so spot on and they're so clear, and they really help you understand just every little detail, every little, you know, connector and wire, you know, how to get every single thing off really nicely. So make sure you just pay attention to the instructions. They certainly helped me get this done super fast. So thanks to Acuity for that. But this is what you're replacing. If you kind of want a tour around the shifter and some of the various components that you can get for it, even if you don't want to replace the entire shifter, I'll give it to you right here. So here's the centering spring right here. That's what you replace with that purple spring. This is the rocker arm right here. So this is what shortens the throw going from side to side, I believe. You know, if you want to do your shifter bushings, that's going to be kind of down here. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not this metal piece right here. It's kind of this black plastic piece down here. In order to make this kind of absorb some vibration and make it a little bit softer and smoother, you know, there's some rubber bushings down here that are in between the chassis and this black shifter assembly. So those are what you're going to be replacing when you do the just the shifter bushings. So you can actually do a lot to this shifter with a lot of the Acuity parts. You can upgrade the hell out of this thing as is if you don't want to get the full shifter assembly, but obviously we're doing the full shifter assembly. But for now, just wanted to show you kind of what this thing looked like all fully exposed. So here it is. Alright, so now that we have the shifter out of the car, I'm just going to briefly go over again some of these bits that you can buy to upgrade your factory shifter assembly. So these are those shifter bushings right here. They're going to replace these rubber bushings and just stiffen up the entire mounting of the shifter on your car. This is the centering spring. This is going to replace that right there. And what that's going to do is make it snap a little bit quicker back to the center. So if you're in first gear right here, you know, you go down into second, and then once you go to third, you're kind of back at neutral and then up to third straight up. So this just kind of returns it to the center a little bit crisper and stronger. So that's what that does. On the bottom of the shifter rod, you can see down here, this is what you're going to attach their kind of short shifter adapter onto in order to turn basically the stock shifting mechanism into a shorter shifter. So the last thing you can upgrade is this rocker arm upgrade here, or rocker upgrade. This thing is going to make the gate kind of condense and make it feel that, you know, you're going in and out of the gears closer. Just gives you a much shorter feel, like you're traveling less distance in between the gates. So like I said, you can upgrade the heck out of this thing, and it's you know, it's all the same installation, the same exact procedure. You're just removing pieces of your own shifter assembly instead of replacing the whole thing. As you can see, this new one pretty much has all this stuff built into it. Okay, so we've got everything fastened down. The shifter assembly is rooted to the car. It's fastened down to the car, so we're all good there. The gear change cable is attached to the bottom of the shifter rod down here. The gate cable is next up, but according to Acuity's instructions, this is kind of the point where you need to change the gate spacing setting if you want to change it at this point, because the cable needs to be completely off of the pin. So I'm going to change that right now. It says to slide it down if we want closer gate spacing, and I'd like to try a little bit closer gate spacing than stock, obviously, to just kind of realize the effect of what this thing can do. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that right now before we move forward. All right, so one really neat thing about the Acuity stuff is, at least this shifter assembly, they really leave nothing up to chance. All the adjustment settings have like indicators and markers and different levels of where you can adjust this stuff to. This 5mm bolt that fastens down the rod, it even gives you a range of safety of where the rod can safely fit inside the center console before you ever put it back on. So you can just line up the arrow with whatever setting you want. I'm putting it dead in the center of the safe range that they say for left-hand drive. I mean, it's so easy. Any dummy could figure this out of where to tighten this onto. So nothing is left up to chance. This is just super, super nice, super easy to install. One other adjustment that you can make is the knob height. This upper rod right here is tightened down through this kind of lateral bolt right here. And that allows this upper rod to go up and down, so you can kind of manipulate how tall you want the rod and the shift knob ultimately to sit. So it's a good practice probably to go ahead and put your shift knob on the car while this is all apart, just so you know kind of where you want this thing and you can adjust it to where you want it before you put everything back together. All right, everybody, yesterday we finished up the Acuity install, and I'm just gonna give you some quick impressions, first impressions, before we get going out on the road and see how it actually shifts. So we ended up putting a red aluminum knob on here. This is the taller style. This is not that Poco knob. And then I put this little adapter thing on here, kind of swap the stock one out. These are really clean and really nice. And you can flip it upside down in case you have a knob that doesn't have this taper to it. So this is kind of the thinner side. You can do the thicker side on the bottom. You can swap those out. But just right off the bat, like I'd say, so on the gate spacing, I set it, if you remember, I set it like close to the bottom, not all the way at the bottom. So the gate spacing is pretty tight. And so from a gate spacing standpoint, this thing is like, it doesn't need to move very much. Going from top to bottom is, as you can see, it's pretty tight. And I think I left it on just before level 4. So it's kind of like, I would say right around like 70% of the shortest throw that it can possibly be. I usually don't like to go like insanely short. I kind of do like to have some throw left. I don't know, just my preference. Whatever your preference is, it doesn't really matter as long as it works for you. But anyway, right off the bat, it's just so much more crisp, and like, I wouldn't say it's smoother, it's crisper, and you just know exactly where it's at, and it just takes less time to get there. So it does what a short shifter is supposed to do. I will say, I've had other short shifters, just like, you replace like the rod setup, and it's almost like you have to force it in and out of gears. Like the throw is shorter, but this one does not need to be forced. It feels very like natural and easy, but it pops into gear almost on its own, really. It's actually really, really nice feeling. So I don't think anybody that cares about performance would dislike this thing. This thing is really, really nice. I can tell just before I even start the car. So we're gonna get going on the road, and I'm gonna kind of just put it through its paces, go through some gears, go through the gate, and see how I feel about this thing. Let's go. Verdict is I love this thing. I didn't really know like what to expect. Every shifter seems to feel a little bit different, but I don't know. It's hard to like put into words how it feels or like what I think about it, but all I can say is it's just such a complete, like it feels like, oh man, this thing is complete. There's nothing about it that's like, I wish it did this, or yeah, it feels better, but there's nothing like that. It's just perfect. And I don't know, it's just the way that you want like that performance race car feel to feel without being you know, inconvenient or impractical. It's perfect. So I'm really impressed with it. I'm glad we put it on the car. I've been planning on putting it on the car for a long time, and I'm super glad I did. I love this thing. The cool thing is the knob that we put on, actually, it kind of raised the height of the entire shifter. It raised the height of the entire shifter, but still the throws are a lot less. Whoa. I can't talk and engage a clutch at the same time, apparently. The throws are less, but it's like taller, so there's more leverage. It's perfect. I really like the feel of it. So yeah, go pick up an Acuity short shifter setup. These things are awesome. They really are. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, reviews of your own, you know, what you think of it, if you have it, feel free to post them. We'd be glad to see what you guys think. And as always, these are available at edgeautosport.com. And yeah, so we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.